March 2003. FBI agents walk into the Birmingham headquarters of HealthSouth Corporation with a warrant. Within hours, they uncover what would become the largest corporate fraud in American healthcare history. $2.7 billion in fake earnings, not over decades, over 6 years. And the company's auditor, the firm that was supposed to catch this, was Ernst & Young. The same Ernst & Young that had just watched their biggest rival, Arthur Andersen, get destroyed for missing Enron's fraud. This is the story of how a company committed fraud so brazen, so systematic, that 86 employees knew about it and not one spoke up. HealthSouth was founded in 1984 by Richard Scrushy, a former gas station manager turned hospital administrator who saw an opportunity. The Reagan administration had just changed Medicare reimbursement rules. Instead of paying hospitals based on costs, Medicare would now pay fixed rates for specific procedures. Scrushy realized outpatient rehabilitation centers could deliver the same services as hospitals at a fraction of the cost and pocket the difference. He opened 2 facilities in Birmingham. Within a year, he had 20. By 1986, HealthSouth went public. The stock took off. Scrushy became a celebrity CEO, private jets, mansions, a 92-foot yacht. He hosted his own cable TV show about health and wellness. He formed a Christian rock band. By 1996, HealthSouth operated in all 50 states, 2,000 facilities, 50,000 employees, revenues hit $2 billion. Wall Street loved the story. Quarter after quarter, HealthSouth beat earnings expectations. But here's what Wall Street didn't know. Those earnings were fiction. The fraud started small, mid-1990s. HealthSouth missed its earnings target by a few $1 million. Scrushy called his CFO, Aaron Beam, and his accounting team into his office. He told them to fix the numbers. Not find more revenue, fix the numbers. Beam later testified he thought it was a one-time adjustment, a temporary patch until real earnings caught up. It wasn't. Next quarter the gap was bigger, so they fixed it again, and again, and again. Within 2 years it became routine. Every quarter, Scrushy would tell his CFO how much earnings needed to be. The CFO would tell the controller would tell the accountants, and the accountants would create fake journal entries to make it happen. They called them fills, fake entries to fill the gap between real earnings and what Wall Street expected. Here's how brazen this was. They didn't even try to make it look real. A typical fake entry: increase assets by $500,000, increase equity by $500,000. No invoice, no backup, just 2 lines in the accounting system. By 1998, HealthSouth was reporting earnings of $230 million. Real earnings were $27 million. They were making up 88% of their profits, not hiding losses, not exaggerating growth, inventing profits from thin air. And Ernst & Young, their auditor, signed off on it every year. Clean opinion, no red flags. Now here's the part that makes this even worse. In 2001, Enron collapsed. Arthur Andersen, Enron's auditor, was indicted. Every auditing firm in America went into panic mode. New training, new procedures, new scrutiny on every client. Ernst & Young was auditing HealthSouth during this. They knew the stakes. They knew what missing fraud could cost. And they still missed $2.7 billion in fake earnings. How? Part of it was how the fraud was structured. HealthSouth didn't put fake entries in the main operating companies that Ernst & Young audited closely. They buried them in small subsidiaries and consolidation entries that received less attention. But the bigger issue was culture. 86 HealthSouth employees participated in the fraud. Not 86 people who suspected something. 86 who actively made fake entries, approved them, or knew they were happening. When you have that many people lying, auditors start to assume the numbers must be real. And Scrushy made sure everyone understood the consequences of speaking up. One CFO, Aaron Beam, tried to push back early on. Scrushy told him if he didn't do it, someone else would. Beam stayed. Another CFO, Weston Smith, also questioned it. Scrushy made him chief accounting officer instead. Smith kept cooking the books. One employee later said it was like being in a cult. Everyone knew it was wrong, but everyone kept doing it because everyone else was doing it. And then, in 2002, the walls started closing in. Sarbanes-Oxley passed. New law requiring CEOs to personally certify their financial statements. One of HealthSouth's accountants, Michael Martin, realized the fraud couldn't continue. he went to the FBI. The FBI opened an investigation. By March 2003, they had enough. Agents raided HealthSouth headquarters. Within weeks, 15 executives confessed. All of them pointed to Scrushy. But here's where it gets strange. Scrushy was charged, tried, and acquitted. A jury in Birmingham, Alabama, where HealthSouth employed thousands, found him not guilty despite 86 witnesses testifying against him. But the government wasn't done. They charged him again, this time for bribing a governor using HealthSouth money. That charge stuck. Scrushy was convicted and sentenced to 7 years in federal prison. Ernst & Young paid $109 million to settle investor lawsuits, but admitted no wrongdoing. HealthSouth survived. They restated their financials, wiping out billions in fake assets, and kept operating under new leadership. So what's the lesson? This wasn't a rogue CEO acting alone. It was a system. 86 people stayed silent because they saw everyone else staying silent. Auditors missed it because they trusted a consensus that was built on lies. And investors kept buying because the story was too good to question. Fraud at this scale doesn't happen because one person is evil. It happens because everyone around them chooses not to see. Which company should we investigate next? Drop your suggestions in the comments.